Hey, how's it going? Welcome to the sixth quarter. This evening, the series shifts to Golden State Warriors versus Rockets, second seed versus seventh seed. The series is tied one apiece. The first game was won by obviously the Warriors, and the second one was won by the Rockets. And to be honest, there is lots of riding on this game. There is youth. There is hype basically around this Rockets team. They finished second in the regular season, Jalen Green and everyone's doing well. But the big thing is Warriors made it into the play-in tournament, obviously, and everything they made into playoffs. The seventh seed, they're facing Rockets. It's looking very interesting. Let's be real. To some extent, I'm expecting closer matchup than other people think, but it comes with a massive asterisk to this, because we need to talk about this, because this still is not confirmed, uninformed, or anything, but Jimmy Butler, who exited Wednesday's game in Houston due to pelvis contusion, underwent an MRI yesterday. The MRI confirmed that the injury is a pelvis and deep gluteal muscle contusion. His status for Saturday's game number 3, which is happening tonight, is still questionable. So obviously, it's still, as I said, like how many 6-7 hours left of the game? It's still unconfirmed. As I'm recording this, there is still not confirmation whether he will play or not. Something similar happened to Steph Curry during the season. He missed two games. So now it's all up in the air what's gonna happen. Obviously, Warriors made a massive trade. They got Jimmy Butler and everything, and so it worked. It worked in their favor. But the big thing is, Warriors this season are pretty damn even. In the season they were, at home they were 24-17, and away they were the same, 24-17, which means it feels like they don't have an actual preference. Yes, they were struggling on some occasions, but they also were winning games. So they don't have favorites. Where do they play? Obviously, they haven't been the same since they won the NBA Finals and everything. It's been a quite rough time since then. Always there have been some expectations, but they never lived up to it. They have fallen short. And to some extent, it feels like they need to do a bit of a rebuild to basically cater Steph Curry and stuff like that. So it will be interesting what they do and how they do it. But definitely there is lots on riding on this series. And it's a very exciting series, I'm not gonna lie. But to add on top of that, as the Rockets won the second game, and by quite a bit of a margin as well, if you ask me. It wasn't like 10 points when Warriors won the first game, it was double digits. It makes you wonder, because Rockets away during the regular season were 23-17, 23-18, something like that. They were also very, very similar to the Warriors, which means that away they are the same pretty much as the Warriors are at home, so there kind of is no preference. However, the big thing for me personally is the fact that it's playoffs. Expectations. Warriors in playoffs, they are a bit different gravy. Playoff Steph Curry as well, it's something unique. I'm not gonna lie, it's something different. But Jalen Green in the second game was having a very good one, 38 points. You would wish that he shoots from 3-point a bit better, and if he did, maybe. But 44.4%, it's actually quite fantastic if you ask me. Şengün is doing his thing, 17 points, double-double. Nearly triple-double as well, as assists, 7. Rockets in the second game really upped the intensity. They really upped it. They were very on it. And to some extent, it felt like from the beginning of the game that Rockets are going to win it. That is the big thing. If the first game was a bit up in the air, if you ask me, similarly like it was with Celtics and Orlando Magic, where in the first game Celtics were struggling a bit. Obviously, the final score didn't show it, but at the end of the day, Orlando had the play-in tournament, so they kind of were in the rhythm. Celtics at the time were waiting for a week or so for their opponent. Same happened here. Rockets were waiting for a week or so for their opponent, whilst Warriors were playing into the play-in tournament. So it kind of worked out. It kind of worked out for the Warriors to take the first game, and that is the big question. If Warriors win both games at home, it would be all done and dusted. However, the Rockets, since they are a new team, the inexperience to some extent is there quite a bit, but at the same time, they have the players to do the necessary things. They have the personnel, if you ask me. For example, Fred VanVleet played 42 minutes and didn't do much. He had an awful night shooting from the field, especially 3-point line, alone, 14% alone. That is not good. 6 rebounds. You would wish his distribution was a bit better, but he got 3 steals, which is actually quite nice. He got the worst plus minus in the team as in the starting 11, if my memory doesn't deceive me. He had plus 19. To be honest, now Dylan Brooks had a bit worse one, but Fred VanVleet as well. He's kind of like one of the X factors in the team. If Şengün does what he did, same goes for Jalen Green. If Fred VanVleet can add about on top of those 7 points, a bit 10 more, I think Houston has a very good chance to do it, basically to win at least one game away at the Warriors. The issue with this is that Warriors, if we speak about Warriors, is the Jimmy Butler injury, because obviously at the moment it's still unconfirmed. It's still not confirmed. As you can see, Cleveland are playing Miami, by the way, up top, and Cleveland are absolutely destroying them. Cleveland are a massive force. Obviously, the second game that's very soon is going to start is Memphis versus OKC, and in the fourth game, Ja Morant is not playing for Memphis because he suffered a but he suffered an injury. So I think OKC is going to take 4-0, and that's going to be that. If you would ask me. However, back to the game at hand where we talk about Warriors versus Rockets. The big question is Jimmy Butler. Because without Jimmy Butler, Warriors go back to this three-point shooting team a bit more, and they kind of shoot them to quite massive extent. Let's just put it that way. The thing is, defensively, they fall apart much more. Jimmy Butler is known to be a very good defender, obviously, so that is the big issue here. Warriors defensively struggle as it is to some extent in certain situations, in certain systems and tactics the opponents throw at them. With Jimmy Butler, they had a bit of a chance, a bit of an option to do it, to kind of get out of jail free card, if you ask me. But without Jimmy Butler, specifically, if he is not playing, I'm a bit worried. I'm not gonna lie, I'm quite a bit worried. Because yes, Steph Curry can catch fire and score about 11 3-pointers, right? He can score 45 points. But if the other team, in the absence, for example, Jimmy Butler, specifically defensively, and offensively as well, Jimmy Butler's a decent scorer, nobody steps up, it could be a very, very long time them at home. Buddy Hield should be playing much better, but he's not, let's be real. You could ask kind of from maybe Moody and Podziemski maybe to step up a bit, but it doesn't look like it could happen. That is the big thing. Warriors are this weird team where after they got the last time they won the finals, they just went with the flow, basically. They didn't do any rebuilds. They didn't improve too much. Yes, they tried to trade for some draft picks and everything, but it hasn't panned out. They are in a bit of a rebuild currently as well. But the fact that they traded away Klay Thompson, for example, and stuff like that just shows they wanted to get rid of some contracts, maybe attract someone from free agency, maybe during summer. But the big question is, what's going to happen with that? Because I don't see... Warriors barely made it, right, this season. So it wouldn't be a surprise if they take one season off at some point. I don't think with Steph Curry being there, they're going to do it. But it's not the same Golden State Warriors, obviously. They're struggling quite a bit, defensively more specifically, because they don't have any more those big players, those strong defensive players that they used to have, and I think that is the biggest issue there. Obviously, when they had the splash bars, at least the offense could bail out their defense. But the way Rockets are playing, new, exciting, energetic, lightning-quick team, it is massive question marks regarding Warriors, how they're gonna play this tournament and how is this gonna go. So it's weird. Can Houston shock them? Will Houston shock and win at least one game away? That for me is the biggest question. If they don't, it is what it is. But if they do, it could be very interesting. As the second seed, you obviously would expect that from them. But ultimately, end of the day, Warriors have the know-how. The advantage, obviously, of Rockets is the youth, the energy they possess. Basically, they played in the second game, the energy, the clamping, the pressing, and everything they did. They're gonna try and replicate that today as well, even they play away. So we'll see what is gonna happen. I'm still I'm swaying a bit towards Warriors because at the moment it's a toss-up. As I said before, Warriors home record compared to Rockets away record, it's pretty much even Steven, if that makes sense. So I don't know what to say. I'm kind of biased a bit towards Warriors because they used to have Andris Biedrinj, so it is a bit of a rough one, but I think if Warriors can hold their own without Jimmy Butler, I think they're gonna do just fine. The question is, can they clamp down Şengün? That for me is the big thing. Even if they try and clamp down Jalen Green and they do so, I think Şengün could actually quite heavily step up. So time only will tell. For me, As I said, it's a toss-up, but I'm swaying towards Warriors, but only time will tell. Let me know what you think about the game 3 and the overall series combined. Let me know what you think. Give me a score prediction or the winner prediction in the comments. Like the video, subscribe and all that stuff. And that's it for the 6th quarter for today. See you guys very, very, very soon. Peace.